Alright, what's going on, guys? So this was originally going to be 2 videos, but I went ahead and compressed it into 1 video. At the beginning, we're going to go ahead and show you how we cut out the floor pan and with the plasma cutter, and then the rest of the video is going to be miscellaneous, cleaning up, getting rid of some old rusted metal, such as the frame rail that was right in here, and then getting rid of some rust there at the back of the car. So here we go. Alright guys, so this is basically what it looks like after we cut out the rusty old floor pan and the frame rail. Just did it all at once. I've went ahead and cut off some more that I didn't get on video, like along the trans tunnel. We actually had it way out to here. I ended up shortening it because it wasn't as good as metal here, and this is solid. Cut off even more here because unfortunately this stuff is really weak, so I think I'm gonna have to end up going way up here, which is not what I want to do, but oh well. Cut back here. Now you see this piece of metal here, this is actually like really sturdy, so this kind of goes up and probably is what's supporting this bolt up in here. So I left this. That'll be good for structure. Weld that to the new floor pan. Same with this piece of metal here. And then this, probably get cut back some more, but leaving it for now until I figure out how much I need to cut off for this. Shaved some more off of this, and I just did all of this with just a angle grinder. You can get straighter cuts with that rather than the plasma cutter. Clean this up some more. There's just like three layers of metal here. Just sanding them down. Got rid of the rust. I still got to get rid of more rust. As you can see, I don't know if I want to cut all this out or not. Start from new, which I probably should do. The other thing I did, which I'll step inside the car so you can get a better angle at it, is here where the floor pan welded before. You can see where right there I didn't shave it off as much, but up through here I did. And I'm trying to get this flat because this is where the new floor pan will be welded to, and you can kind of see the old welds there that we shaved off to get it off. And there are the holes for the bracket, the metal left over from that, shave that down. But what I did was just used the sanding disc and shaved it down. You can see that it's pretty well flat, not close enough yet, but getting there with time. And then all the way up here. Now what I didn't get in video was that I cut, hey, there's a hole there. I cut out this hole in the firewall. Yeah, it's pretty big. It's going to be pretty tough. Oh well, it's a project. Needed to be done. It's got to be replaced. Gonna have to shave all this down because it's pretty rusty there. I think that's just surface rust. I think giving it a good sanding fix it. However, this up here where the battery bracket was. That's pretty rusty. Probably gonna have to go up here, replace it. You can see it's kind of rusty in there. One thing that I had to do is pretty tough was this is like the frame rail from coming down from the engine bay, and it comes down, and these here are pretty solid. I mean, these lips here where you would weld the floor pan over it, those are solid, but what was on the metal that was on top of it was really rusty. And I'll probably put a picture in there so you can remember what it looked like. But I just used a belt sander. I got it right here, this thing here, and get some more light back in it. Just grinded these pinch welds down, and then just pulled the metal off. It was worked like a charm, and luckily I was able to do that on first try. And then the new floor panel plug weld back on top of that, but all this is going to have to go. I'll put new metal in here. That's the frame rail that kind of goes under the engine bay frame rail. I mean, that's not good. I'll take a look at the inside of it. Try and get as close as I can without getting in the car. Yeah, so you can see light through it. That's not a good sign. But if you look, there's what do you say? Pinch welds, tack, whatever, on it. So I'm gonna have to grind those down and pull that metal off. Not just gonna be as easy as just cutting it out. So we're gonna get that piece off first, and then we'll go from there. All right. So I just want to explain what I'm gonna do first. See this like bracket here, this piece like L-shaped metal? That's like really sturdy. There's no reason that needs to come off. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut all of this rust out and get this metal out, but leave this bracket here. So then when I put the new metal in there, that's what I'm gonna weld to. So we gotta get all this out, but leave this bracket. So here we go. As you can see, I'm not getting right on where I want it to be cut out because I'll just use a sander and shave that metal off. I'm just gonna go straight down and go ahead and get the other side off, and then I'll deal with this cut later once I get all this stuff out, so I can make sure that I do a good job in here. Let's go ahead and get this out. Okay, for the rest of this side, we'll go ahead and get the grinder and grind down these pinch welds to get this piece of metal off, and hopefully this metal right here is still good and I won't have to put in a new piece of metal here. So once I grind all these down, this piece of metal just come down, and then the other side we might just have to cut that out, but then it'll just look just like this side. So I'll go ahead and get the grinder. Alright, so this is the grinding tool that I use. Pretty basic, just got a sanding wheel on here that needs to be replaced. So I'm just going to go ahead and replace that. You just flip down this lever, releases the tension, and you can just slide it off. Slide it off of here. Now I've got a new one, and this is 40 grit. This should be plenty good to sand those down. It should only take about 4 or 5 seconds, maybe a little bit longer. Just depends on the weld, but 4 or 5 seconds on there at a good hard push to get that pretty loose. And then I might just use the jackhammer air tool to. So I've got that on there, and then I just release this and tightens her up. This is cordless or corded, not an air tool. I have an air tool one, but sometimes this one just works better. All right, so let's get under there and do it. Alright, so that should be pretty good to get those off. Hopefully you can see them, they're kind of in the way of the light. But those are pretty well ground down. Now I'll get the kind of like the air chisel and hopefully knock that piece of metal off of there first try, hopefully. Well, holy cow. That just came out of there. Alright, I got it fixed. I just had to pull back on this thing to get it back in there. Never had that happen before. Well, let's keep going. Looks like I'm going to have to grind some more in here because it's not really wanting to come off. But we'll see. Let's keep going. That. So it's off of this top piece now, it's just attached right here looks Looks like I might need to grind it down some more. Maybe not. Well, there we got it. There we go. And then looks like this could probably just be cut out. We'll see what I'm going to do with that. But that looks pretty good. I was able to save that metal there. And this, that should clean up pretty nice. Get all this extra metal off. Clean it up. Pretty solid. So, alright, let's go to the other side. Oh yeah, I also wanted to mention that this is a welding blanket. So if any of you were scared that it's going to catch fire, it's not.
He's running around like he's on fire?
Oh my God, help me, I don't want to die! Oh, stop, drop, and roll!
You're not on fire, Ricky Bobby!
I'm on fire! You're not on fire!
Alright, so now we'll go ahead and use the grinder to get the rest of this metal off and leaving this L bracket here. Alright, let's go. Alright, I've got to switch to a smaller disc because that one was just too big for me to get in here and kind of trim down this corner, so maybe get a better angle. Alright, so I went ahead and cleaned up some of that metal that was there. I still need to clean up some more up around here, where I can just use a grinding disc for that. Next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to cut out this bottom piece. Well, it's kind of the top piece of metal. See how it's rusted there? If you look from the inside, it's that piece there that's rusted. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that out basically as far as I can get, and we'll go from there. Alright, so it's been a minute and I went ahead and cleaned up all of the metal that was overhanging, so now I got pretty much a flat piece of metal to weld to. And I went ahead and cleaned up, get out of the way of the light, cleaned up this here on both sides. You can see that it's pretty smooth now. Can definitely weld to. So it's pretty well done. I think I'm going to move on to a different part of the car now. Alright, so now I think I'm actually going to move to back here. I'm going to try and start cleaning this up. This metal here goes to the back of where I think the seat belt, like where it curled up, that's where this is for. But this is real structural here, and so is this. This is real sturdy, not just that metal we just cut out, and so is this. So I'm gonna try and clean this up and save it. I know there's a little rust hole there, but I can just weld that up. But the other thing is right here. You probably can't see it on camera, but there's a little bulge there, right in here. So that means that there's rust up under there. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to cut maybe up here and try and eliminate that rust back behind there, and put some new metal over it. And then over here looks pretty good. I'm just going to have to beat it down so that it lays flush with this, because I'm going to add a piece of metal here so the floor pan can sit on there. Alright, here we go. Alright, so this piece here actually came out a lot easier than I thought. I guess I did a pretty good job. But now you can see the rust under there, which is why it was starting to bubble. And I actually think my line here is really where it stops. I might have to come over more. But that rust there, gonna have to probably cut it out, put some new metal in there, which is what I was expecting, but glad I did it, didn't just overlook it. Might as well deal with it now. So I'm gonna go ahead and come over further. We'll see how far. I'll just cut and see as I go, but I'm gonna start cutting down here. Hopefully I don't have to come back too far, because it's gonna be kind of tough bending metal like factory like this, so we'll see. Alright, there she is. Oop, dropped it. But there you can see the back of it. Yeah, there was no sense of trying to split the metal away, it was just too rusted. But I'm happy that the bottom of this looks pretty good. It was just this piece of metal here that was rusted. So this part right here, that's sturdy. This part right here is good, so I can definitely weld to that. Just clean this up down here. Weld this hole shut, maybe from the bottom. Clean this metal up here. Get rid of this point. I'm gonna put some new metal in here. So glad with the way this is turning out right here. Could have been a lot worse. All right, so this video is getting pretty long by now. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here at this part. Next video you can probably expect me cutting out this rust here and maybe fabricating some new metal to go in here. So that concludes this video. I hope you leave a like and subscribe so you can see new future videos. Thank you.